Good afternoon, everyone. It is Tuesday, April 29th. And, whenever I get on a workshop and I look at the date, I'm always amazed at how fast time is going. Isn't it crazy? It's
It
just
is crazy.
the Thursday is May already, and then the next month will be halfway through the year almost. Crazy. That's just crazy. So tell me, what is the most exciting thing that's happened to your business in the past week? Let's start out with that. Who wants
I'll
to go?
start.
Okay.
So April was looking really ucky. And I had kind of given up on earning excellence awards. But then I woke up Sunday with a $820 order in a party. And a different party got $500 in sales that day, throughout the day. So it kind of lifted my spirits again. And now I'm really determined. I think I'm less than $5,000 away.
When's the deadline?
May 31st.
Oh, you'll make it.
I hope so. I'm determined to.
Wow. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Kathy.
That is wonderful.
That is just great. And Kathy, what about you?
Well, I've got a possible, it's a big if, recruit. I kind of convinced her to not join before the party and join after the party, but she's had no orders. So I think she's kind of getting discouraged. So I would say that I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I have a recruit is a good thing. But I mean, no orders whatsoever. The party's been going on since Saturday.
Well, I mean, that's a host coaching issue, which,
I
but
know.
that's, that is, is she sending out, Bonnie probably have some tips too, but, sending out, have her send out the link to 10 people and,
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about it is we have to give them ideas or they're, that's what's
And I
gonna happen.
have.
Yeah.
I have.
Well, yeah, I mean, what would it take to get that done kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can do it. Come on, you can do this,
But I don't want her to get discouraged from joining Pampered Chef.
Well, it's two separate issues. As long as you don't make it and say the same issue, it's two separate issues,
Yeah.
And we can talk. I will talk more about that then as tonight as it goes on.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Can you hear me?
Well, we can hear you. Hi, Bonnie.
Hi, sorry. I just wanted to tell her, I can't remember her name. Kathy. I will send you a paragraph that I put, and I'll put it right here in Karen's group.
Okay.
What I started doing because of so many problems with Facebook. Is that where your parties are?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I make sure they're friends with me and I go right onto their page, and it's a 2-part thing because first I copy and paste this paragraph, and then I save it. Then I go to their group and I go to the settings and share the group. So in that paragraph, I have, say her name's Kathy. I have Kathy's party is up and running, and we're having problems with invites with Facebook. So please just click on this link and join her group. And that is working terrific for me.
Okay.
So I will post the whole thing for you.
Thank you so much.
And plus, then the very secret thing about doing that, after I do it on their page, I make the hosts go into their Facebook page, and in the comments, I make them put @highlight in the comments. And that way, all of their friends are seeing that.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. I'll do that later.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Well, Bonnie, what's the best thing that's happened to your business this past week?
Nothing.
Oh, I'm sure there's something.
I have had a terrible May.
This is August. This is April, honey.
I mean, April. My May is booked solid.
Well, that's good.
I know, but you know, you work triple hard in March, and then nobody wants to party in April. But I have, as you know, I don't recruit, and I don't want to recruit. But it gave me time to clean up all my groups this month, which really needed it. And it gave me time to get all the new summer products I made a group just for that, all posted, ready to go. And I've been live in my cooking group every day because I have time.
Well, you know what, Bonnie? It sounds like it's a lot of good stuff, sweetie.
Oh, it is. I'll get
Right.
paid back for it down the road. But as far as my paycheck in April, you know.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, we're
Yeah.
glad you're here. And you know, of course, tonight our subject is recruiting, Bonnie. So I find it interesting that you're on tonight, and we are going to talk about recruiting. And let me see. I'm trying to think what's the best thing. It has been a very challenging week for me, as you all know. But I think that sometimes when you have something like that, and maybe even Bonnie would agree with me, and when you have the challenge and you're ready to get back in the saddle and you know, really, it really makes you evaluate how important your business is to you and how much you want to be there. So that's kind of where I'm at, and I'm excited about that, and so happy to have you all here. And I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to talk a little bit about recruiting. And again, you know, sometimes, well, I'll go ahead and just, you know, here's our Team Halo page. It's really important that we are encouraging, that we're positive about our businesses, we're positive about what we have to offer. We're solution minded, which we are. I'm preaching to the choir here. Hardworking, and we're supportive of home office, which is really important because we do have to. We understand that, you know, there's challenges, but they're always working on our behalf, and we believe that the best is yet to come because we have a growth mindset, and we are grateful, and we believe that 2025 is our year. So with that, I'd like to first of all do a little bit of recognition. We have several new consultants who have earned the two-piece mug set with $1,000 in sales. And then, so the people who have already earned at least one set is Jennifer Thomas, Judy Emmons, Molly Busing, Deb Abbey, Jez Postkazam, Gail Ruffin, Cheryl Lisco, Christine Ramsey, Megan Collins, Marty Hammock, Kim Green, Maureen Kimmel, Lynn Mead, Sonia Carter, Alexis Blake, Kim Hill, Bonnie Fickett, Sue Reynolds, Dawn Ferreira, Lori Coleman, and Erin Nicole Chase. So they've already earned one. And then Kim Green, Maureen Kimmel, Lynn Mead, Sonia Carter, Alexis Blake, Kim Hill, Bonnie Fickett, Sue Reynolds, Dawn Ferreira, Lori Coleman, and Erin Chase have already earned another one. So congratulations. And I'm encouraging all of you, if you're going to watch this, if you're watching this replay, make sure you check your sales and see how close you are to the level, because you can make a big difference in one day in order to make sure that you don't miss this by just a few dollars, right?
Right.
And, you know, again, Bonnie, I know that this might be a challenging month for you, but there's a lot of people out there who would be so happy to have $6,000 in sales, even though I know you've worked hard for it. So great job, girl.
Thank you.
And then I know Lynn is also having a good month. And when you've done over 2,500 in sales and you have a new team member, that is a pretty awesome, good month. So Lynn, you're doing a great job too.
Thank you.
So
Yeah. Really help. You know, I should recruit.
well, that's, you know, that's something that is a personal decision. You know, when you shift your business from being, you know, where you're the sole person, you're the sole focus, and to other people, you know, that's something that you have to decide. The great thing, of course, is you can be a director even by being an elite seller. So that is a great thing too. So I just, you know, I like being able to affect people. I like hoping, you know, hoping that I'm helping people with a Pampered Chef business, and I like doing that. But when you really think about it, when we're recruiting, we're mixing and we're mingling and we're multiplying, right?
Yeah.
So there we go. Now the objections, and these are just some ideas, and I'm certainly always love your input too. But the objectives and some of the benefits of recruiting is to understand the value of discovering new team members. Oops, I have a typo there. So tell me, what is valuable about adding new team members?
What's valuable?
Yeah.
Oh, a lot. When I did recruit, I earned my trip in like 6 months. There's so many benefits to recruiting.
Hmm.
Like I said, I really need to get back into it. I just got burnt out because they stopped working.
Yeah.
And
So
it's hard
Melissa,
when
yeah.
you're a go-getter, it's hard, to put up.
Mhm.
That's me.
What would you add, Lynn?
Um, well, being a director has its own advantages.
Hmm.
So recruiting to get there is
Mhm.
good.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
Kathy,
it's,
what are the benefits to? What do you think are the benefits of discovering new team members?
Well, it holds you, to me, it holds you more accountable too, because you've got to keep the team soaring, and it helps you help your recruit more when you learn more. And it's just so beneficial for everybody with with a good leader like you, Karen. It makes you want to strive to do better and do more. So that's how I feel about it.
I'd like to just shift the conversation a little bit to a more heart-centered focus. How does it feel? How does it feel to help people?
Feels really good.
It does.
It does.
Every single one of you, and I would say almost everybody on our team, are people who want to help other people, right?
Yep.
And
when Deb earned her air fryer, I was thrilled.
mhm.
Yeah.
To think, there comes a time when you feel like there's not much more you can do to help people, especially if they're not reaching out. But if you can't take solace in a fact just like that, Lynn, if that's all you ever did for her was to get her started and get her going like that, I mean, that is just something we can always be thankful for.
That's actually huge when 20 years from now she says it all started because somebody asked me.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so and Kathy, I appreciate you saying what you said about me being a leader, but how would you feel when somebody says that about you? How would it feel for somebody to say to you, I succeeded because you asked me?
It would make you feel very good, because helping someone out shows your willingness to always be there for them and to continue to learn and follow up, and just the different things that you can do for them as their leader.
And as a team,
And
and as a team is, and as you build
Right.
that team, I'm thinking, I've been in your living room, I've been in your dining room and imagining people around your dining room table and around the
Mhm.
bar,
Mhm.
and everybody, is succeeding, because you asked. And I think each one of you can envision that. So I want you to always remember the heart value of that, okay? Because while the money and all the benefits are terrific, I would say that it's that servant leadership.
Yeah, not one of us mentioned money. Not one of us.
Right.
I thought about that.
Yeah. But okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about how to identify and talk to prospects. and we're going to master some tools of mindset and some follow-up techniques. How does that sound?
Perfect.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about re-recruiting. We already mentioned some of these things, grow your team, and of course, income. And even though we didn't mention income, there's absolutely nothing wrong with making money. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Especially, I feel that really there is nothing more we can do for anybody, our kids, or anybody we know. If we can help them we create our income. We create our income every time we reach out to 10 contacts a day, you know? But we'll earn promotions and bonuses. We're going to help others find flexible income, and we're going to build a community in leadership. And again, you're going to empower others. So often, we were talking about this on Sunday, that people don't want to own the fact that they're a leader. I mean, we need to have a country full of leaders. We need to have people that are willing to put on their big girl panties and assume the leadership role, right? Having
Yeah.
a more confident people, women, especially women, confident women raising confident kids, so, and I know that, you all have already done that, but again, offering that to people, to other women too. Our opportunity, of course, is a low startup cost. We've got no inventory required, free website for 90 days. We earn commission rewards, and we, of course, have a flexible job. Now, the thing about it is, these are very basic things. And I'm not sure that people really understand, like, we don't have inventory. We don't have an inventory requirement, and people don't know these things unless we tell them. And that's where part of the recruiting comes in. Any comments or questions so far?
Yeah, are you going to put a copy of all this stuff on your page?
I can, yeah.
I want that opportunity.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
If you just want that one screen, I can do that too. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Who makes a great consultant? Any idea who makes a great consultant?
I mean, number one thing is a person that loves to cook. That is always, because I'll have people say, well, I don't even like to cook, or I don't know how to cook. That's what people think. And I do see that as a benefit, but that's not all the greatness that it allows.
Do you know that Sonia Carter does not like to cook?
I was
Really?
just say that.
And and Kathy, I'll pick on you for just a second because it's my job to challenge your thinking.
That's right.
You don't have to like to cook.
Mm-mm.
There's a lot of people out there that do jobs every day. They don't like their jobs, but they do it because it puts food on the table. So, but the flexibility and the income comes with doing our job. And what people do find is especially if they don't like to cook, they learn how to cook it. I always kid even people at my shows, if they hate to cook, I'm going to help them get out of the kitchen faster. If they like to cook, we're going to make it more fun. So, but really, hosts and guests who love the product. Hey, there's people out there that don't like to cook but love our Pampered Chef products. I don't get that. They have a kitchen full of Pampered Chef product and they don't cook. And that's what's so funny to me. People. I feel terrible when I hear about people that have unopened boxes in their kitchen. But people are looking for extra income. I don't care who you are. I don't know. Most people out there would love to have a little bit of extra yin yang in their pocket. And I would, and this, it came up with social, enthusiastic, and organized individuals. I think that does help. But again, if you've seen my office, you only have to be organized enough. And even Sue Rush used to say that. Sue Rush was on, a national a long time ago and then retired. But, I would feel frustrated because I didn't feel I was organized. She goes, honey, you only need organized enough. That's all. You just have to be organized enough. But and the whole thing about this is not to prejudge. We could shoot holes in any of this. Anyone who asks questions about your business, and we're going to talk a little bit about enthusiasm in a minute, but anyone who asks questions about your business. And the hard part, I think, with the social part of our business these days is that people don't ask questions, I think, as much as they do when you're in person. I don't know if, does that make sense to anyone? I think people, when you're having a personal conversation one-on-one, it's easier to get questions. Where to find new team members? Well, we're everywhere, right? Everywhere. Parties, and it can be hosts and guests. It can be vendor events, social media, Facebook groups, Instagram, a lot of people doing the TikTok thing. Friends, family, and community referrals. I always want you to remember that there are 5 ways that anyone can participate in your business. And those 5 ways can change over time. First of all, you can invite them to your event, any event you're having. You can offer them to look at a catalog, offer them the, again, one of the best things people could do, and I think that's what's really good about, our virtual world these days, is you can just say, hey, would you send this out to 10 people? Send this shopping link out to 10 people. Very seldom do people go through the catalog and not want something, but I'm not sure we do that, how often we do that. But offer them, the shopping link. You can offer them to host. You can offer them to join your team, and you can always ask for a referral. Who do you know that loves to cook? Who do you know that loves to entertain? Those referrals are excited people. They are usually people who like to cook. All right, so that's why when you're looking to find new team members, and I'm gonna put it this way, and I don't mean it kind of as mean as it's gonna sound. There are times I see people out there, they recruit people, and all they want is a body. They just want somebody to sign up. And that person may not, and I'm going to say the other extreme to that is hiring people who do I know that loves to be self-sufficient? Who is independent? Who's always wanted to work for themselves? Who's always wanted something of their own? Do you see the difference there? Who are you looking for? Are you looking for just a body? Or are you looking for someone, I am looking for someone just like you who loves to cook, or I'm looking for someone who just like you who wants more from life. I'm looking for someone just like you who has great leadership, abilities. My host on Friday night has 18 people come. She's so excited for her party. And I'm just when I get there, I'm going to just thank her for her leadership and thank her for, compliment her on that and then build on that with her. So again, really watch who you're approaching and how you're approaching them. We're just looking for consultants, you don't have to do much. And then when they don't do much, you're discouraged, right?
Mhm.
All right, starting the conversation, look for enthusiasm and build on that. How can you tell when people are enthusiastic about Pampered Chef?
When they have a lot of the products and they share them, they share stuff online or talk about them.
In the last workshop we did, and it wasn't what I don't think neither one of them were my consultants. There were 2 people in our workshop that took the initiative to post on their own. It wasn't a response to a comment. They posted something on their own. And I really recognized that and hoped that maybe that would go into something. But it's those types of things when you can really appreciate that enthusiasm. But you're so right, Lynn. How else? Somebody
When
who
they ask
comments a
you-
lot.
When they ask you questions.
There is an acronym for form, people always want to talk about their family. Have you noticed that?
Always.
Always. You can always talk about the family. What kind of meals do you make for your family? What are your family's favorite meals? That kind of thing. Finding that kind of thing out. Their occupation, they're usually proud of what they're doing, even though, there's a lot of people that don't like their jobs. What they like to do for recreation. A lot of people like to cook for recreation. Some people like to take cooking classes. One of the fun things I like to ask at my live parties is who takes cooking classes, or who watches the Food Network channel, who is your favorite Food Network channel celebrity? That's always a great question too. And of course, money. You can tell. Some people will let you know that they may not have enough money at the end of the month, or they may need a van payment, or their family member may be getting laid off, or a lot of women are getting divorced. A lot of women don't have little kids, and they're not sure what they're going to do, or they feel and then what happens too with a lot of us, you start making money and you don't need to put up with crap anymore. That happens to a lot of people too. So money can make a big difference for people, even though sometimes we don't like to talk about it. This may be the furthest thing from your mind, but have you ever considered doing what I do? Out of the blue. Okay.
That's in
Would
my
you-
host coaching.
Okay, awesome. Would you like some information about why to start a Pampered Chef business or how to get started? Do you see the difference between those two questions? Why? Are you interested to know why to start a Pampered Chef business or how to get started? This is an important distinction. What's the difference?
How to get started is an action statement.
Ordering their kit,
Mhm.
Why to start a Pampered Chef business is quite a bit more in depth. Okay, so there's no reason to tell somebody who is ready to get started and walk them through how, because you feel like you have to have an interview kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? One of the things that we recruit people, sometimes we get a little bit of overtell. We talk them into it, and then we talk them out of it. And basically, and then, share how you got started, but you want to be a little bit careful there, because this is not, when you're starting a conversation, it's not about you, it's about them. You could talk to someone, and, you start talking about some of the benefits of our business, and, could be earning a trip. Well, they might not care about earning a trip. So there would be no reason to really go through all of that. Okay. Overcoming objections, we've talked about that a little bit. I don't have time. I think it's always important to turn things, be curious. What can you say, or a thing that you can say when someone says, I don't have time. And I might say, hey, Lynn, what kind of time do you think it takes to be a Pampered Chef consultant? Because they probably have no idea. I mean, is the business different than you thought it was going to be when you started with Pampered Chef?
Yeah.
So what they're seeing, they really don't have a clue what this business is all about. So if we don't peel away the onion of these objections, they're going to leave thinking and not changing what their view is, which probably 9 times out of 10 is different, is wrong. And if we let them walk away with their incorrect assumptions, that's a shame. Because I love the direct selling business. I love the lifestyle it's created for me. And to not peel away that onion to help them shift their thinking, I'm doing them a disservice. And I'm doing our business a disservice, and you're doing your business a disservice. I mean, when you think about all of the opportunities you may be missing, that is a loss. That is a loss of growing. I am not a salesperson. I don't think any of us feel like a salesperson, do we?
No,
Mm-mm.
not at all. I'm just passionate and care about what I'm doing.
Absolutely. And, they may not say this. They may not come out and say, I'm not a salesperson. That's why it's important to emphasize the fun and sharing and helping other people. Again,
The way they say it is, I could never do what you do.
Right, and a response to that, and the thing about it is when I first started with Paper Chip, my ego went, "Oh yeah, I'm so good, blah blah blah. You could never do what I do." Well, that is so absolutely not true. What about my job do you think that you could not do? That question has got to be answered like that, without skipping a heartbeat. You know, and then say, "Thank." I know you meant that as a compliment, but let's talk. You absolutely can do what I do. You may not do it like I do it, and that's okay. And I think people need to understand that. And then, of course, a lot of times people think that they don't know enough people. And again, we think so much about social media these days that we forget that there is a whole world out there that's not social media. There are still weddings we send out invitations to. There are still all kinds of events that we invite people to that have nothing to do with social media. And we need to remember that. But there are lots of success stories that we can share with them. And again, would you like me to tell you how, again, this is, maybe one of the things you're having with your party too, Kathy, is brainstorm who do you know? Tell me who you know. Tell me and go through the Franks list with them. And you might have to do this over the phone. Tell me name of 5 friends. Tell me the name of 5 Franks relatives.
Mhm.
Tell me 5 of your acquaintances. Write them down. I mean, sometimes
Mhm.
it takes that detail to help
Mhm.
because you want to help them and go through that. Okay, now if we go through the Franks list, that's 6 letters. That's 30 people right there. And now we could get, we get 10 of those people, get them all to bring a friend. I mean, there are just so that's our job. That is our job to help walk them through that. And any comments or questions about that? If we're just taking all of these comments and these things just on the surface and we're not digging at all, we're losing a lot of people. We're really not doing our job. Now, sharing your story, and we really do need to do a workshop. We haven't done a workshop about sharing your story recently, but keeping it short and authentic. People are interested in you, and they want to know why you started. What was your motivation for starting? What were you afraid of? What have you overcome? What are you proud of? And what is your next goal? To focus on what your why is. And you might talk about that. When I started with Paper Chip, my why was this, and it has since changed to something else. And then the benefits of that. And then practice tailoring your message to your audience. Like I mentioned before, there's no reason for you to talk about travel when the person you're talking with has no interest in travel. There's no sense talking about making meals for kids when to someone like me who has no kids, that kind of thing.
I want to throw myself out and tell you one comment that I make, and you tell me if this is a good comment or not a good comment.
Okay.
Like, I had a girl this morning that was in my office, and she's a widow with 2 kids. And I mentioned the business to her, and I could tell she was thinking about it. Her wheels were turning. And I said, Amy, the way I also look at it is you have to eat. You might as well earn some money while you're doing that. That resonates with me because it's so true. A lot of people don't like to do cooking live or live videos or whatever. And I'm like, take a picture of the products that you've used when you have made your meal and post that.
Right. But you could go that far with her in that comment.
I did not not yet.
Right.
But I might.
Yeah. My whole point is she doesn't see that. Like I mentioned before, they only see.
Yeah.
My only comment, Kathy, is we don't tell people things. We ask them questions. You got nowhere to go with her if you don't ask the question. Did you realize, Amy, everybody eats?
Good. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I would do one at a
Yeah.
time and perpetuate that conversation. The good thing about it is, okay, and I'm not going to say that this is how you feel, but here you are and you're thinking, I got, I said this comment, who knows? There is still a lot of possibility there.
Yeah.
There is still, I would talk with her about the party.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow up with her. So,
But when it comes to recruiting and when it comes to leading people, the more often you can ask a question, the better off you're going to be.
I like that. Thank you.
And yeah, there's a book out there called, I'm not going to think of it, The Crucial Conversation, but it's more about asking questions. But this is where, again, I love this, Kathy, because again, this is where practice tailoring your message to your audience, because you find that you hear, would you all agree with me? You hear the same objections all the time.
They're all the same.
They're all the same. Now, there's circumstances of that certain person might be different, and using the feel, felt, found, I understand how you feel. My friend Kathy, who had, has 3 girls that love to cook, blah, 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 blah. Whatever the story might be, you fashion it to them, but you learn that from getting those. I used to hate objections. Now I welcome objections. It's like when I worked at the grocery store and people would come in all crabby, my challenge would be to have them smiling when they leave the store. So when I get an objection, it's my challenge to, turn it into as much of a positive as I can, How to invite, I think you'd be great at this. I would say why. A reason, I think you would be great at this because you have great leadership qualities. And if you're going to say something like that, be pretty prepared to mention a couple of them, because they might say, "Oh, really? Well, yeah, you did this. You sent out all your invitations. You had 18 people in the room. You were on every day. And whatever little thing that you can take and turn into a positive, compliment them about." And sometimes it's hard, and a challenge like you talked about earlier, Kathy, where you're pulling teeth trying to get orders. It's hard to find a positive in that, but you know what? It's there. You got to find it. To compliment her, again, you might have to get real specific with, "Hey, I just got this great idea. Let's talk about, and that would be a good text. Tell me who 5 of your friends are. Did you invite all of them? How did you invite them all?" Okay. Because if you ask them they're all going to say yes.
Right.
Well, what did Sally say? What was their response? And so that kind of thing. Asking, would you want to learn more? And then, of course, Pampered Chef is having opportunity events. If you ever want us to, we just haven't seem to have had that much interest in order to do an opportunity event. I'm happy to do one anytime. I'm happy to meet with you and a team, a potential consultant anytime. We could always do a Zoom. Offer to send a video or to get on a quick call. Now, we do have the lookbook to share. Have you all used the lookbook in your parties? Good. Okay, good. I found that there really isn't a link for it. I was going to share it and just watch it tonight, but you have to send it as a PDF.
Before we move on any further, let me ask one more question about recruiting. I have a friend here that was a former Pampered Chef consultant, and she sent me a message a couple weeks ago, and she said, "Hey, Kathy, you have got Pampered Chef wrapped up in the area. Dina Black has Pampered Chef wrapped up in the area. So I'm going to join Mary Kay."
Okay.
I was like, "But Leanne, why do you feel like you cannot do this too?" And she was just like, "It wouldn't work." And I said, "I don't agree with that," but she still
Well, why do you decide it? Why would you decide it would work? The thing about, okay, this is where an explanation peeling away the onion would help. How many shows did you do last year, Kathy?
Oh gosh. I probably did. Oh man. I don't even know. Isn't that terrible?
Okay, that's where it's helpful that you know.
I probably did 75.
Okay, how many people are in Opelika?
Probably 30,000.
Huh.
Honestly, I don't know.
Well,
Isn't
but,
that terrible?
but my point is made. It doesn't matter. My point is made. It's more than
Yeah.
75 and it's more than 150.
Yeah.
So, and, you know, that's where, again, this is where people have preconceived notions
Right.
and letting them get away with them.
Right.
Well, plus, I mean, you're going to have customers all over the country, not just
Exactly.
where you live.
There are 33,572 people
Okay.
in Opelika in 2023.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah. And I mean, she works at the hospital. I'm going to ask her again. I'm going to ask her.
Just ask her that question.
Mhm.
I would say, hey, do you know how many, does she live in Opelika too?
She does.
I would say, how many people live in Opelika?
Okay.
How many shows do you think I did last year?
Okay.
And go back and look to see how many shows you did last year.
I will.
I have
I
a
will.
feeling it may not be 75.
I have a feeling it was only like 45. I'm aiming high.
Well, we want to be, you know, I think it's important that we all know what the numbers are.
Yeah.
But again, it is trying, it's stepping back and saying, what we're talking about, is it rational? Is it real? Is it fact? Or is it emotions? Because everybody gets their stories created and then they live by their stories, and it's based on not correct information.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Does that help you, Kathy?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And then closing the deal. I've got craziness going on here. Walk them through the sign-up process and then guide them to choose a starter kit and then schedule their launch party or their first event. That's all got to happen right in the same breath. Right, Lynn?
Mm-hmm. Have them get their first 5 parties booked.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Lynn, when you recruit somebody, do you throw, like, are you gaining that recruit from a party that you were throwing for someone in that party? Or your recruit, like especially the one that you just recruited, did she join and then you threw the launch party?
She joined due to my question I ask in my host coaching before her party starts.
Okay.
So I deleted her party from my website and she signed up. We opened the link on her website and then just continued the party.
Okay.
I just changed the ordering link, and I went from my template to my new recruit template because I take out all my personal things and
Right.
different things.
Make it a little bit
But
more.
it's nice to have them start with their party. They'll earn commission.
Yeah.
Mhm,
They'll get some sales on the books to help them get to meet their
mhm.
Yeah.
goals.
It's really great, but also just let me say that even if you have a consultant who is starting from a party, you know, and she starts, I mean, I've signed up people. I mean, I used to tell people, you've got 5 bookings from your party. Let's get you started. Well, they wouldn't sign up till I'd done 4 of the parties,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But the thing about it is that no matter what party they've had, if they've invited 40 people, like we've told them, only 8 or 10 showed up, there's still 30 people to market to.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So again, really keep, I worry so much about when I see people when you get online and you say, my host just needs 1 more order. Do you know what you're really saying by that? You're telling everybody that it's hard to host a party. She's not getting her
Mhm.
orders.
Mhm.
Will you help me? You know, we're begging. It does not look good for the business.
Mhm.
really have to sometimes think about what we're saying. And, you know, this is the best time to have a party. Well, that means there's times it's the worst time to have a party.
Mhm.
So, there's always a positiveness to take out of every situation, right? Whether they just had a party, whether they didn't have a party, whether they had a party that sucked, whether they had a party that excelled, because I tell you what, I think you know as well as I do, we've started people in all those situations that some have excelled and some have done terrible.
Mhm.
They can come from a great party and do crappy, or they can come from a bad party and do crappy, or they can come from a bad party and do well, or do a crappy party. You know what I'm saying? It's
Mhm.
so important that we think about the situation and really take our blinders off to um, make it as factual as we can. Any comments, questions? Did you learn anything tonight?
A lot.
Anything spark? Okay. Well, it is part of our responsibility. It's not, our responsibility is to book parties, have sales, and start new team members. And our team really does need to grow this year. We really need to have some growing pains. Before we know it, Lynn we'll be celebrating Lynn's directorship,
Mm.
and Kathy, you could be there too. So,
I know.
but again, just reach out if you want to have a three-way. If there's anything I can do, if a conversation isn't going the way you'd like it to go, what can I say? What can I do? I mean, I don't have all the answers, but I might have a vantage point that might help you.
Yeah, nobody has all the answers, but you have the experience.
Mhm. Yeah. And I think that's actually very freeing as a leader to think, I don't have all the
Mhm.
answers, and there's no way I can know it. There's no way anybody can know all the answers,
Mhm.
And there was a time in my life when I felt like I had to have all the answers.
Mhm.
I wouldn't sleep at night because I had a meeting. I'm trying to make sure I have all your I dotted and T crossed, and we have to be human like everybody else. Just do
Mhm.
the best we can. And if people know you care, that's half the battle,
Mhm.
right?
Very.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be with me tonight. Looking forward to seeing something about the. Now, Kathy? One time when I visited Gail, we went to Birmingham for a party. Oh shoot, I can't think of it. I want to say Mardi Gras party, but that's not what it is. What's coming up this weekend?
Cinco de Mayo.
No,
Kentucky
fifth?
Derby.
Kentucky Derby.
Oh, Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, I went to a real fancy Kentucky Derby party with Gail Saya one year.
Really?
Yeah, it was fun. It was real fun. I was out of place, big time, but it was fun
Why would you say that?
because I didn't. I mean, first of all, I'm not a hat girl. I look like hell in a hat,
Oh,
and I'm not a petite little Southern girl.
how funny.
But it was real fun.
I bet it was fun.
Yeah. So anyway, all right, you guys. Well, let's go. This Kentucky hot brown or whatever they're making, and you guys are gonna do very well in the participation award.
Oh, Karen, I got my little inspiration book. Thank you so much. The
Oh, you're
little
welcome.
calendar thing. That's so nice.
I thought you'd like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Lynn.
Bye, Kathy.